Hola, my name is Jorge Gutiérrez, and I'm an animator and director. And today I'm going to teach you how to draw Zatz from Maya and the Three. All right, let's get started. Lay your foundation. That's step one. I usually like to start with an oval so I can sort of start figuring out where all his features are going to go. As you can see, he is a very simple character. He just has a lot of details. Usually I like to start with the hair with him. And then if you look at his nose, it's, again, very simple shapes. It's a triangle and a half circle. Then I like almond eye for him. And he has an eye patch, ultimate sign of being a bad boy. And then I like putting little under eye circles to imply he's a vampire, so he doesn't sleep that much. Then I chose to open his mouth. And again, these are all very simple shapes. There's nothing too fancy going on. Again, because he's half human, half god. His father's the god of bats. He has vampire teeth. And then that makeup, I like to draw that stuff in, and it looks like basically vampire jaws on him. A very simple neck. Roughening the shapes of his cool triangle sideburns. In design, triangles are dangerous, so Zatz is covered in triangles. He has very round earrings. Again, part of the inspiration for this fantasy Mesoamerican world. And then inside his silver earrings, we basically drew in a cool little skull on both sides. And again, I'm just roughing in my shapes. Of course, I gave Zatz a mullet because he's from ancient times. And then if you look at his hair, it also looks like a hand, basically peeking and opening to show himself. I made him a little too squished. So sometimes I'll just draw a character squished and then I'll scale him up, as you can see, to give me a little more elongation and sort of sell his dominant shape. And then I start drawing with a cleaner line on top. Again, I'm gonna stay with a big brush, pretty chunky, because I like how that looks. I like sort of that Sharpie, drawing with Sharpie look. So I'm gonna use black to sort of outline everything. And as you can see, very, very simple shapes. Sometimes they get bigger or smaller. Again, doing the almond eye, elongated pupil, and already we're off to the races. I do not mind making my stuff look wonky and imperfect, because that's kind of what I like about folk art. This idea that you can see the artist's hand and everything. And I like those imperfections. I think imperfections cause things to look a little more like a human made them and less like a computer made them. Again, very, very simple shapes. Now that I kind of have the main drawing ready, now it's time to add color. Because of the way he is designed, white's going to be a big part of his design. So I try to color the dominant color first. The purple in his color reveals that he's a barbarian from the Golden Mountains. That's one of those colors that is part of the story. And then because of this fantasy universe inspired by Mesoamerica, a lot of these characters have face paint. And so, as you can see, purple is a big part of Zatz. The white face paint is really important. The little dots under his eyes, to me, symbolize tears, because he's dealt with some stuff that hasn't been very happy. I like the tongue to always be a little bit brighter than the inside of the mouth color. And at this point now, it's just sort of values. If I want those earrings to stand out, I'm going to make some of it darker, some of it I'm going to leave light. And now that all that stuff is ready, then I just start detailing little things here and there. Again, I don't want to take it too far. This is just a color drawing of Zatz. I start sharpening some of those edges. The brushes I use are kind of round, and even though I'm using a tablet, I still need to go in there and sort of sharpen them up a little bit. And then Zatz is a character that's very special and very unique to me. So, of course, even though he's supposed to be a monster and a vampire, he's actually full of love. Congrats! You did it! I can't wait to see your Zatz drawings on DeviantArt.
I am Zatz, the Prince of Bats.
Oi, oi!
El vampiro guapo.